Okay, this is the Warren, the Painted Desert, session one of, I believe, 4 sessions we're doing on this. Let's talk about the game at a high level. I'm going to do my CATS procedure. So the concept of the Warren is it's a Powered by the Apocalypse game where you play a colony of rabbits. The closest like sort of fictional touchstone is going to be Watership Down, if you're familiar with that cartoon or book. But it doesn't have to be exactly like that. The main thing is that these are rabbits who have a culture and a sentience, but they're still rabbits, right? Like they don't like have technology or anything, right? Like they still have to like go about and do rabbit things and forage and mate and do all that stuff, right? But they can think, they can talk. They have a specific culture within their warren, and there are other rabbit warrens with their own culture. There are other animals in the setting as well, obviously, and all the other animals also can think and talk. Okay, so that's kind of the basic idea. The Painted Desert, specifically, the setting that we're doing, it was written by Marissa Kelly, and it's basically New Mexico, for lack of a better descriptor. It's a sort of like it's a painted desert. It's a desert area. There is, like think like beautiful like red clay, and that kind of thing. But just like little bits of greenery here and there. Like it's mostly like kind of desert, right? We'll talk more about that in a second. The aim of today is to hopefully finish a chapter. The game is structured, it has a chapter structure, and the way you do it is whenever you kind of like reach what would be like a natural conclusion, that's the end of a chapter, right? And my hope is to like get us to like a conclusion on like a real simple story kind of setup that I've got going on in my mind. And ideally, we'll start the next chapter next session, and we rotate GMs. So someone will be GMing the game next week who's not me, unless this one caveat. If we don't get far enough in this chapter, like if we leave things a little too like with too many loose ends and we need one more session to tell that story, we'll do it. But my hope is to get us to the end of a chapter today. So we'll see how that goes. Tone of the game is it's pastoral. It is about nature, and you should be leaning heavily into that, like to the extent that you can work in descriptive nature things into the way you narrate things. That's awesome. I'll do my best to do that as well. It can have a slight dark edge to it because the rabbits are super vulnerable and they're pretty fragile. So the retiring of your rabbit is something you can expect to do somewhat frequently, maybe every couple sessions or so, right? But it kind of depends. But in any case, they're pretty vulnerable, and there are going to be lots of instances where, you know what, the animal just gets you in its jaws, and there's not a lot you can do about it, right? And so it might be one of those things like, well, I think that's it for my rabbit. And then, but the game does this cool thing where whenever you retire a rabbit, it gives you a hold that you can spend on your next rabbit. So your next rabbit's like a little bit better, right? But so that's kind of the payoff there, I suppose, or the sort of trade-off, I should say. But mostly, we want to see these rabbits. It's the hard scrabble to survive, right? And Marshall, the author, recommends that you kind of lean into like the fact that the rabbits are really fragile, right? Fortunately, they're super easy to make. It takes just a couple minutes to make a new rabbit. So it's not like, it's not like a trad game where you have to, spend 3 hours making a character, right? So it can get a little dark. In terms of subject matter, which is the last thing on our CATS procedure, something I normally avoid in games, which is violence being done to animals, is pretty unavoidable in this game. There's going to be violence done to rabbits, okay? And we don't have to have it like super bloody and on screen, but just know it's a thing that's going to happen, right? Everything else, I don't imagine humans are going to play a big part in this, so we shouldn't have to worry about things like sexual violence, although I suppose rabbits, there could be a situation like that, but rabbits mate so frequently, and it just seems like a weird thing to try to fit into the game. In any case, I'm putting a line across it, no sexual violence, even between these rabbits. Do you guys have any other things that you don't want to go in terms of like subject matter that you can think of right now? Right. In that case, just know that we'll have the X card on the table. The way that works in this context is you just say X card or you type it in the chat and we'll stop. And if we have to discuss it, we will, if it's something that needs discussion. Otherwise, we'll just change whatever just happened and do something different. So let's just get characters made. I think that's the best thing to do right here in the beginning. So character creation is pretty straightforward. If you pull up the one PDF that says, it's the very first one there, the Warren characters. If you just pop that open, it's got the whole procedure there. You're going to choose a name, you're going to choose a look, your coat, your ears, all that stuff. You are going to determine whether you're a buck or a doe. If you are a doe, you don't start pregnant, but you can get pregnant. And then you're going to assign your stats according to the little sheet there, between strong, swift, steady, and shrewd. If you want an idea of what those do, just take a look at the basic moves right next to that, and you can see the different stats that are rolled on the various types of moves. And then you're also going to pick a character move. And the character move is actually on a different sheet. That's on the third sheet in the folder. Actually, that's wrong. It's the second sheet in the folder. Those character moves are each, only one rabbit in the warren at a time can have each of those moves. So if Garrett chooses circles of life for his rabbit, nobody else can have that, okay? This is something that basically makes your rabbit distinct from all the other rabbits in the warren. So you'll want to take a few minutes to look through those and pick something that sounds fun to you. Just pick what you think sounds cool and what fits maybe like an idea of a character you might want to play. Don't worry too much about like advantage or balance or anything like that. In fact, some of them are like distinctly disadvantages, right? So just go with what sounds fun. Do you guys have any questions about that?
Mm-mm.
All right. I'm gonna leave you guys to it. Just fill in your stuff on the Google Sheet as you get it sorted out, and I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Okay.
I was looking and thinking I like both Storyteller and Swift Warning. I don't know if either of those are something people have looked at yet.
I started by looking for rabbit pictures. That's how I started my creation process. I found a good one. I found one that has a lot of character. I'm trying to figure out the best way to show. Oh, I know how to share. I can just
put it in the sheet, right?
Yeah, I can upload it to the Google directory, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if let me just find out where. Let me just orient myself here.
Just put it
All
directly
right. Let's see. Can I
spreadsheet.
upload? Oh, that's true. I could just do that. That's easier.
Yeah. Insert picture and then.
Let's see. Can I just copy like anything else? Okay, let's find out.
Mm-hmm. The spreadsheet, it's insert and then choose an image to upload. Or drag and drop, I think. Yeah.
I'm going to add 100 rows. Oh, no. Not that many. Let's add 20 rows just to give room for pasting pictures. Didn't work yet. Oh, wait. I can just... Oh, that's someone's picture.
That's me. I've got to get him smaller.
I'll just do an insert image, I guess. There we go. And boom. Check out those ears.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's a rabbit with character right there.
Oh, wow.
So I guess whatever hearing advantage is, I've got to look through the character moves or something that's ear related. All right, what do we have here?
Yeah, there's the where one sense is dumb or something. This sounds really interesting. I'm not going to take it, but I find it
Oh yeah,
interesting.
Ellen Keen.
Yeah.
I'll do that one.
I'm thinking about being fertile.
All right, you're the one who's going to be producing all our replacement characters once we all get killed.
That's awesome.
There we go.
You should all take care from me.
a little quicker than 5 minutes, I guess. But I knew you guys couldn't stand me being gone, so I hurried back.
So before I fix my name forever, I first need to check with the native speakers if there's any double meaning. So
What?
I want to call my character Fig.
Say it again.
Fig, like the fruit.
Oh, a fig.
Oh, fig. That's a good one.
F-I-G.
Yeah. I know it to be a fig. I don't think there's any non. I don't know of any like euphemisms that fig is part of. So.
Thanks for confirmation.
They're delicious. I love them. They're good for your digestive health. I know that. So.
All I wanted to hear, yes. And I'm the fertile rib.
I'm going to change the way these little names look up here. I didn't make the sheet. I don't know how it's set up. I like to put the player names in parentheses.
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. I've been looking for pictures, and I'm going to have to spend more time doing that. I've got a character concept, so I'll just go with that and get the picture later.
Okay.
There, see a giant rabbit. I also couldn't resist at first choose the picture before taking care of character creation.
If anybody has any questions, just throw them out there. Any big deal.
I wanted to take the fertile, which only makes
Okay.
sense if we play so far that we have babies and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You're expected to mate fairly frequently. So.
Yeah.
Rabbits are like mating age in 3 months, and they're pregnant before their previous litters were even grown up. Like.
Yes. Yeah, the Marshall Miller has put some very interesting infos about rabbits in this book.
Yeah.
Definitely worth reading. The tallest rabbit, the heaviest, the biggest litter.
Mm-hmm. 210 minus 1.
If nobody else is particularly wanting it, I do think I want to take that storyteller.
Go for it.
Sounds good. From bard to storyteller.
Yeah, you can see a theme.
Oh, wait. I know what I'm going to call it.
Man, Cabbage, you have big ears. Those are crazy.
That's why I had to go for that picture. Thank you, Pinterest. So guess what my keen sense is?
Vision.
Smell.
I am trying to figure out what my dull sense should be. I guess smell would be a good one.
You could go vision and be like kind of a daredevil rabbit, right? Kind of fun.
That's a great idea.
Murdoch rabbit.
Yeah, let's do that. Hearing.
So you're going with the dull and keen?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, the character moves are really fun. They kind of like they're enough to make the rabbit distinct, but not like you only have to have one, and like it's enough. It really drives the story, in a pretty significant way, and gives lie to the idea that characters need like tons and tons of things to them to make them so.
So it's basically we set the stats, we assign the looks, and then pick our character move, and
You're done. Yep.
Awesome.
Your max panic will be 5 plus or minus your steady. So that's the only kind of weird stat. And panic is I'm going to talk about that a little bit while you guys finish up. Panic is really important in the game. It's like kind of the main pressure point the GM has in terms of your character. The idea is whenever you're exposed to any kind of like new danger, or just whenever the GM says based off a move or whatever, your panic goes up. And when you hit max panic, your rabbit is extremely vulnerable at that point. Like once you hit max panic, like you are probably going to like get eaten by the animal that you're facing down or whatever, right? Like it's a not good situation. But the cool thing is that you do like there's like a sort of a downtime special move where you go, and it's called relax, and you go back to the warren and you do something relaxing, and it lets you reduce your panic, right? But panic can go up basically whenever I'm running across this stretch of land exposed. That's a resist panic situation. Oh shit, there's a hawk. That's a resist panic situation, right? Also, if you have like a serious disagreement or competition with another rabbit, that's a particularly dangerous panic situation. That can jack up your panic a lot. And it kind of goes to this idea of like the thing that's like most scary to the rabbits is like the breakdowns in the warren, right? Like that's like, ooh, so.
Okay.
Looks like we're all ready. Cabbage, cutter, fig, coriander. Tell them to change your and anybody else need any more time? Is everybody good?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. Did Tyler step away? Tyler stepped away.
I'm here.
Okay. Let's go ahead and introduce characters if you guys are ready. Mike, just tell us the basics of Cabbage.
Yeah, so Cabbage is a doe, and primary features are her giant cabbage leaf-like ears. So, and she's got amazing hearing, but she's very dull of sight. I figure maybe she's not the steadiest of rabbits, so maybe she often tries to close her. She's just gotten accustomed to just closing her eyes and just sensing the world through what she hears rather than. And I don't know, maybe she was born with, we'll just say she was born with poor sight, but maybe her ears just grew huge to compensate. That's the explanation anyway. Yeah, and that she makes her. I mean, she's very perceptive, but she's also kind of shaky because she can hear everything. So it's like there's always some rattling that makes her wonder if she's about to get eaten. So that's her deal.
Awesome. I don't think I have any other questions myself. Just if anybody else has any questions, just jump in there. If not, Harry.
I was curious about
sorry,
Gavin. Did the rabbits in the warren make fun of your poor sight?
Or your big ears?
Oh, you know, I would say maybe that's what shook up her. Maybe that helped to shake up her sense of confidence. Although she's also very shrewd. So, oh wait, I messed up my my panic because I switched my stats around. So I'd say that maybe that's yeah, she probably does get made fun of and isn't particularly fond of that.
Awesome. Harry, tell us about Cutter, please.
Cutter is a young buck. He thinks very highly of himself and talks a good talk. He isn't proven though. So he's quite anxious to get out there and prove himself and show that he's the best buck around. Not the smartest bunny in the warren, but he makes up for that with bravado and speed. One sad thing about him is his fur is not very good. He doesn't really know why. He's kind of itches a lot, and that makes him nervous, and it causes him some self-doubt.
This seems like at odds with his otherwise cocky nature. That's interesting.
That's right. He has to hide that. It's a shame that his fur is not the nice coat that he purports his life to be.
So his cockiness is compensating for the poor luster of his coat.
Yep.
Awesome. I think I'm good for now. I may have questions later. Garrett, tell us about Fig, please.
Fig is the best bunny to mate with because she's compact, she's lush, she has a lush coat, beautiful short ears, not like cabbage. It's quite the opposite. And
where's my voice? Oh, I bet it turned off my mic again.
I'm extremely calm, and I will take care that our warren will survive, and future generations will come, and the desert will not bring us down, and spread among desert. My name is Fig because I actually like these fruits, figs, to eat them. And so whenever you want to make something nice for me, just bring me.
Awesome. Let's see here.
I'm fertile, just to mention.
Great. Tyler, tell us about Coriander, please.
Coriander, or people call him Cory. He is a buck. He's kind of small, has little short ears. He's strong enough, but not very quick, and not especially calm. But he is quite smart, and he loves to listen to everybody's little stories, everybody's things that they see out in the desert, and he always remembers them, so he can tell all the little rabbits, well, when Thistledown went this way, he found this, and he likes to tell these stories to the kids. He's probably kind of a little bit of a shyer rabbit around the adults.
Awesome, I love it. I may take opportunities to like every now and then I might say that oh, this is a storied character, right? So you can maybe think of a little story to tell about them or whatever. So, possibly maybe particularly interesting NPC animals or maybe other members of the Warren. So.
Okay.
Good. Okay, cool. Let's talk about our setting a little bit. I'm just going to read the open and crawl text here. You guys can follow along if you want. It's on the first page of the Painted Desert thing in the folder. It says, when you look across the great desert of the Southwest, what do you see? Some say they only see sand and death, but that is not what I see. I see life. I see warm clay, blooming cacti, and compassionate storm clouds brewing on the horizon. The desert can be unforgiving, but for those who know where to look, the landscape yields a rich and vibrant world full of life, spirited colors, and a welcoming warmth found nowhere else on Earth. So, when you look across this ocean of sand, tell me, what do you see? There's also a map handily for this particular world. So we might talk about like where the Warren is in a minute, and maybe some of the different like geographical features. This game is divided up into chapters, and I think this first chapter, as a sort of way of kicking it off, I think we're gonna have just a kind of a basic problem, just that you guys can kind of work on in order to get a handle on the moves and how the game flows, and also something I think we can kind of solve in one session. But basically, what's going on right now at the top of this session in this chapter is the current chief of the Warren, whose name is Suntail. The current chief has he's fallen really, really ill. Okay. It's obviously like a moment of like tension. It's a reason why it's going to have everyone's attention, right? The Warren, I'm imagining, it's a desert Warren, so despite Fig's best efforts, it's still probably only like a few dozen rabbits in the Warren, which is all things considered, you guys are probably doing okay considering it's the desert, right? But Suntail is very much like, he's the leader, he's the chief of this Warren. He's not the oldest rabbit, but he's the one that you all look to. And so a question I have, we're gonna take a little break here in a second, but I'm gonna give you guys some questions to kind of kick us off with. The question I have for, let's say, who knows our storied characters? It's probably Coriander. Coriander, I want to know, why do you all follow Suntail? Like, why have you accepted Suntail as your leader? Why is his wisdom like so prized above all the other rabbits that you made him your leader? For Fig, the numbers are falling in the Warren. Like I said, despite your best efforts, the Warren is getting smaller. I want to know why you think that is. Okay. For, let's see. One of the main things, one of the sort of like cultural aspects of this Warren in the setting is that you all actually go make tributes to the spirits. Okay, there are like several different like nature spirits, and you can like give tribute to them to get their guidance and their help. I want to know from Cabbage, of the four spirits, which are Storm, Fire, Death, and the Mother. Of these four spirits, which one do you think is currently ignoring the Warren, and why? Okay, why have you like fallen out of favor with this particular spirit? All right. And for our final rabbit, our cocky rabbit, whose name is Cutter. Let me take a little look real quick here. Of all the rabbits in the Warren, Cutter, the does, that is, who do you wish was your mate?
Oh, okay.
It could be a named rabbit, or you can make up a brand new one. But I want to know who it is and why. Why that rabbit is so interesting to you. Okay?
Got it.
Let's take a quick 5 minutes. We'll come back and we'll start role playing.
You feeling better, Garrett?
Also menos.
Mm.
But yeah, currently better than in the morning. I was dizzy. Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much for playing with me.
I had a really good time.
Coriander. Michael, good to see you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's good to see you, both of you.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Mark.
Yeah, I'd played with Garrett. What was the most recent game? It was Spirit of 77, right?
Yes. It was my first game
Yeah,
with
and oh, that was your first game with the Gauntlet?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh,
Spirit of 77 was your first game with the Gauntlet?
First game with the Gauntlet,
Not
yes.
well, it must have been like a long time ago, right? Because you've been playing with us for a while. I guess, did Rich run it before?
That was Rich running it in March.
Okay, got it. Cool.
That was in March. Well, it took me like 3 months to get into first game because everything was occupied, and only then I got onto a $7 spot, and then you had me everywhere.
The spots aren't easy to get. There are going to be more next year. But...
Yeah.
All right. So, looks like we're all back. At the outset, just another couple of quick setting notes again. We have a couple of custom moves here in this setting. You can do the spirit offerings, which basically lets you kind of get some guidance or help from one of the spirits. Additionally, in this setting, there's a move called Honoring Your Elders, which basically when you ask one of your elders for guidance, you can kind of get some little stuff from them for doing that. So just know that that's kind of, Marissa intends for this setting to be kind of like that, right? Like consulting with elders, consulting with spirits, you have a chief, that kind of thing. Very like Native American kind of pastiche, right? At the outset, Cutter, it's early in the day. Word is spread throughout the Warren that Suntail has gotten sick, and many of the rabbits are very, very concerned about this. But it's the start of the day, probably around like 5 or 6 in the morning. The sun's just now peeking up over the horizon. Where do we find Cutter right at the beginning of the day?
Oh, Cutter is probably curled up still, maybe just on the outside of the pile of his litter mates. He's, they are old enough that they're starting to peel off, and he wants to be the first to peel off.
Nice, nice. Is your mother still in the Warren?
Yes.
What's her name?
Bramble.
Bramble. Let's make a note.
So I stretch my little forelegs and kick my big hind legs and get ready to move around. I guess the word has gotten to our little sleeping hole that he's sick.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, of the other player character rabbits here, who would be bringing word? Who's spreading the word right now that Suntail is sick?
I probably go around. Stories are just gossip with a little bit of veneer.
Indeed.
So I probably am walking around telling folks.
So
I am strongly concerned about this.
So let's just have the scene, if you guys don't mind, between Coriander and Cutter, and maybe Cutter's litter mates too, if they're around or if they're being talkative, of just like you breaking the news. Like, let's just have that scene and see how it goes.
Cutter.
Role play.
Cutter, I've heard very disturbing news. Suntail, he's not doing well at all. He hasn't been leaving his burrow.
Oh, Stretch. Wait, Suntail he's sick? He's sick again?
He's not going out. His does are bringing him food.
Well, wasn't he sick just like, I don't know, a moon ago? And he's not really that sick, is he?
I can't imagine that he would be terribly sick. Every time he's felt ill before, he's always gotten better. So surely he'll get better this time.
What did... Well, let's go see what the other rabbits are doing.
I've been trying to go around and let others know so that perhaps if his doe need help getting him food, we all can help.
I bet I could find an herb.
Coriander, why do you follow Suntail? Why is he the leader?
I probably tell this story a lot. Listen, little ones. You see, we did not always live here. There was a time when we lived in a different warren, but that was not a warren that was as good as this. You see, there were many animals that would come and they would attack us, and they would take away those of our families. But one day, Suntail, when he was very young, before even I was born, he said, I know a better place. Well, some rabbits did not listen to wise Suntail. They said, no, there can be no better place than this. We will survive. But Suntail knew better. And he set off, and the wise rabbits went with Suntail because he was strong and he was smart. And we traveled, they did, all for some great distance and across many places. And there were dangers, but Suntail saw them through each and every time until we came to this place where there is water and where there is food and where we could dig. And there are no more of the big four-tailed things that would eat us here. And that's why, little children, we always respect Suntail.
And
My
Fig,
parents-
why is it called Suntail? That seems like a really specific name.
Well, my parents always told me that his name is Suntail because as soon as the sun is out, you can only see his tail anymore because he's running as fast as he can from whatever he sees. He's panicking all the time.
So he's a panicky rabbit.
He's super panicky. My parents were saying he was not a leader, but he was the first to run away, and the other was just running behind him.
They just followed.
Yes.
Nothing
This is
so
all not
heroic
true.
and messianic as
That's wrong.
as that.
You're mean.
It is not. He has brought us here, and now we are in trouble.
Guys, can
We've
you just
always
keep it
been.
down, please?
Cabbage. Suntail's principal mate. We'll name that rabbit. We actually have a list of rabbit names on a little thing here. Benna. Suntail's mate Benna is outside of his hole while everyone's like chattering and telling me stories and having differing accounts of the legend of Suntail. Benna is there outside the hole, and she says, she kind of comes out and she's like, Cabbage, it doesn't look good for Suntail.
What's wrong with him?
I don't know.
I heard a lot of coughing. Is that what's going on? Is that him?
He looks very, very ill. Because your senses are really keen, I think you'll also hear that he's like, he's coughing. He's like very short of breath, right? Like the short wheezy breaths are something that other people won't hear, but you hear them.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds really, really dire, right? She just says, I don't know what to do. I feel like as his mate, the Warren is looking to me to make a decision about what we need to do, about trying to help him, and I can't. I don't know what to do. I need help.
Perhaps we could find we could get maybe we can find some special herbs that could cure him. Give him a good meal. Make a nice broth.
Do you know of such things? Do you know what we would need to gather?
Well, we can certainly consult. I mean, Corey certainly knows lots of stories. Maybe he knows something about that.
I fear that Coriander delights in telling very, very tall tales and gossip, and he certainly serves an important function within the Warren, that being entertainment and mirth and merriment. But I'm not sure I consider him to be a very wise rabbit.
Then perhaps one of the elders would know.
Perhaps. And then she says, I cannot bear to go back in to help him. I can't to see him. It fills me with such a fright.
Can I help?
You go and figure out what we can do to help him. If you can send someone though, that would be wonderful.
Sure. And with that, I think Cabbage would just maybe go to her, who I presume are her closest friends, the other three,
Sure.
and see if they might want to, because I'm sure she overheard everyone speculating on Suntail's current status, and
Right, yeah.
I'm sure they'd be interested in getting a first-hand look, or a first paw look, as the case may be.
Indeed.
So Cabbage would approach the other three while they're arguing about how Suntail became the leader,
Right. Yeah.
and go, guys.
Yes.
Guys,
Yes, Cabbage.
Bennett needs help tending to Suntail. You want to come help with me?
Then it is true. He is sick.
Yeah, I think he's got the gurgles. He makes lots of gurgly noises.
Oh no.
But let's go see him for ourselves. Maybe we can help him out. Maybe you can tell Matilda they'll lighten the spirits or something.
That would make you feel better, there's no doubt.
Fig and Cutter, are you guys going to?
Yeah, I want to see Suntail up close.
Here, I want to go first.
And no arguing about him running away and whatnot.
Fig, how do you feel about the fact that Suntail chose not to mate with you?
He was never a good chief, following my mother. He brought us here, and that's bad. The water is keeping us from having lots of litter. Our litters are small since we came here, and already my parents' litters were small, and their parents' litters were small, and it's because of the water here. The water is bad, and it's Suntail's fault. And now it's his fault that he's dying because he's drinking this water.
Will you, on the map, will you point out where the Warren is right now?
Mm-hmm. There are noisy stones and bones. I think where the bones are. This is where.
Good. So, bad water,
Yes.
that's what you believe.
Yes. Tastes different here.
Mm-hmm.
They
So you're
say
all going
I-
to go see him, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I certainly am.
If you go to, let's say you all go, Benna is there, looking very, very like panicked and distraught. As you go in, you'll see Suntail. He's kind of curled up in the far corner of his little hole, right? Like he looks small. Like he looks like he's receded. There is his fur looks even mangier than Cutter's. His skin on his bones just looks really, really thin and pulled, like it's stretched tight right over his frame. Sunken and gray. His fur just has lost its luster completely, and he's there. But the most striking, unnerving part of it is his black, glassy eyes have gone matte and dull, right? I think this is all like very, very, this is probably very shocking to everyone but Fig. Those of you who have like a really positive impression of Suntail, everyone but Fig, take a panic. And then just I want to know, like, from each of you, like how you feel about seeing your chief so vulnerable right now. Particularly, I'm interested in what Coriander has to say about this because of his hagiography of Suntail.
Coriander's shocked. Great Suntail, you look so tired. I'll be nosing up to him.
Yeah, he says, "I don't know what's going on. I've been trying to hide it for the last few days, but it's not. There's nothing else I can do now. I fear the mother is soon going to take me."
Oh, no, that can't be true. Not you, Suntail. You just need food and some rest.
And he just, I think he kind of like looks out at you, Fig, and he says, "What say you, Fig? You've always disagreed with my choice for where to locate the Warren. I'm sure this is something you saw coming."
No, and I didn't want to see you like this. This is not what I want. This is not what I want for the Warren. But it means that now it's time to change something. We do it for you, Suntail. Brought us here, and you might die for us now. And you might die because it's your own fault. But still, we can also, to honor you, that you strongly believed to bring us to the right place, we can show you that we can stand for ourselves and bring us to a place which is better suited for rabbits, where the water isn't poisoned.
Cutter, you are just about mating age. It will be on rabbits like you to make sure that the does' bellies are full. Who have you your eye on to mate with?
Cutter hops up to be next to Chief Suntail, and he puts his forepaw on Suntail's forepaw, and he looks over at Fig. Doesn't say a word.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of like weakly nods, you know, and if his eyes were glittering right now, there would be a glimmer, but they are not. And he says, "I thank you all for your care and concern, but I'm feeling like I need to get just a couple of more hours of sleep." And he kind of like will sort of like kind of doze off or whatever. I want to just go around the table and find out what you're each going to do or what you're up to. Fig, I want to know what you're up to, but also I want to know, I'm very curious to find out how you feel about Cutter's proposition. So what do you think? I mean, like...
I have young babies, and they are only 2 months old, so it takes another month before, you know, I'm a grandmother, or start to become a grandmother.
Right.
So and there's a father who belonged to that, and he's also in the NPC list already. But Mudtail was like a secondary choice, honestly. So, I mean, Cutter looks impressive. his ears are so long, and not like disgustingly long like the cabbage, but like proper rabbit ears. So yeah, if he's ready to fight for me, I could like fight like a rabbit, like stand up a little bit. So
What do you think about his mangy coat?
it could be a sign. It could be also a sign of that he's very active and that he's out in the wild. It doesn't have to be necessarily negative. Maybe he can show me that it's not something permanent.
Indeed, indeed. Cutter, you've kind of like tipped your hand here a little bit to the other rabbits. What do you do after this little meeting with Suntail?
Well, Cutter's embarrassed. He's still an adolescent, and having that all come out on the table makes him shy. And so he is going to hop outside of the warren and look around. He feels like someone needs to take over if Chief Suntail is really dying, and maybe it's Cutter. So he's pretending he's playing the mature rabbit on guard.
I like that. Question for you. I might give you a pay attention roll here in a sec, but a question real quick. I'll come back to you in a minute, but I'll ask the question first. What? I think there's some animals' bones that sort of lie at the main mouth entrance of the warren. I want to know what kind of animal that is. Cabbage, what do you do after this meeting with Chief Suntail?
Well, I know Ben has already cautioned me about the wisdom that backs up Corey's tall tales. But
Right.
since Corey is the closest one to me, who I've always considered to be, well, what I consider, I think she certainly, or he, excuse me, certainly talks a good game and seems to know what he's talking about. I think he's going to consult with Corey and see if he knows what would be the best place for us to go to, since it seems like, Miss High and Mighty Fig is intent on finding and outdoing Suntail and finding a better place for us. So, yeah, I mean, depending on what Corey's up to, Cabbage will probably follow him and maybe pick his bunny brain for a little bit.
No, so Corey, where do you go? What do you do?
I suppose first I've like rolled up to my belly, so I pulled out some fur and I've kind of shoved it underneath Suntail's head so he has something to rest on. And I'll nose him a bit and kind of back out to give him some peace as I see Cabbage waiting there. I can't believe that we can't find something to make him better. I know Fig just wants to leave, but surely we could maybe ask the Gray Furs if there's some herbs they know of that could heal.
So you don't know where we could find anything like that? Maybe in the refuge? The bushes of the refuge?
I've heard many stories of strange things found in the refuge, but perhaps it might be that the elders would know better than I do. Their stories are closer to the source. Mine usually comes second or third paw.
Secondary sources.
Maybe I should go listen in on what the elders are saying then.
Yeah, yes, and they should know that Suntail is hurt.
Consulting elders. The principal elder that you're probably in the warren at this time is going to be a rabbit named Ghost. Okay, and I'll type that.
That is a big one.
Good. We'll get to that in a moment. Cutter. Give me a, if you're checking things out, give me a pay attention roll.
All right, so pay attention is plus shrewd, I believe.
It is indeed.
All right, so I rolled a 3, and my shrewd is -1, so that's a 2.
Hey, it's a really bad roll.
Off to a good start.
You, Cutter, are. I'm going to take over the fiction just momentarily. First of all, tell me about them bones. What are they?
There's something big, something with sharp teeth and big eye sockets. It probably was a coyote, but it's been a skeleton since before I was born. There may be some stories. I think I've heard a story that of course it wasn't here when we first dug this warren, or otherwise we wouldn't have dug it. So it came and died after we were here.
Yeah. I think you get a little brave, right? You're feeling like, oh man, I got to prove myself to, like to the group because I could be the next chief. And I think the adolescent bucks don't normally range beyond the bones by themselves, but you choose to for whatever reason. And so you go a little bit beyond there, and then you hear a voice behind you that says, well, hey, little rabbit, what are you doing out here?
I quickly turn around, like hop 180 degrees.
There is a, I know what he is, but hold on a second. There's a coyote standing there, looking, like coyotes do, grinning somehow. Give me a resist panic roll, first of all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be a fail.
He says, we'll keep the scene going for just a little bit. You're just like stone, like cold, sitting there. Okay. Let's see if, there's no, on a miss, take +1 panic. So go ahead and take a +1 panic. That happens no matter what. As you cower, hesitate, or flee. Your choice on cower, hesitate, or flee. Which would you do?
Hesitate.
Hesitate. I think your instinct would be to like run back to the warren, but for just a moment, you stop right a little bit, and he just kind of like imposes his body around yours, like kind of just like the curls around you so you don't have a way out now. It's kind of like, you're kind of like between the bones and him, right? And he says, you seem kind of small to be going out by yourself. What's that all about?
I stand up on my hind legs to be big, and I'm big enough to go out.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm sitting here wondering if I should eat you, but if I'm being perfectly honest, you look a little mangy as far as rabbits go, even for desert rabbits. Should I be picky here? I don't really know. Seems a bit presumptuous to think that I might not be able to like find someone else to satisfy my hunger. Will you do? Won't you do? Will you do? Won't you do? I don't know.
While he's off thinking this through, I take my opportunity to bolt.
Indeed. Hold that thought. Fig, where did we find you?
First of all, I have to take care of my litter. They're still young, and I need to be careful what is going to happen with them. And I hope none of the 3 disappears, as they always do, because then I have to look for them. And I might also panic if they are not there. They are called Wa, We, Why. Because they have to choose their own proper.
So just noises until then. That's good.
Yeah, until then it's the first noise they make. They get from them. Wow,
That's
we
really,
why.
Well, that's a really great insight to the Warrens' culture here. I'm curious, like, what is the method by which you're named? Like, is there a standard naming procedure, or is it just who names the rabbits? How does it come about?
Usually, rabbits can choose their name by themselves, but it's definitely nearly impossible to choose a name differently if something is established already from the others. And so it can happen overnight that your name changes as well. And you have to accept that. And people will know that you accept this. Rabbits, I mean, will accept that you accept it. Yeah. Yeah, it can happen.
So you're checking out the
Sorry.
water. I think, are you concerned that they might be sick too because of the water sickness that you suspect? Or is this just a sort of general checkup? What are you doing here?
Absolutely. I mean, they are babies. They are most vulnerable to bad water, and it tastes so metallic. And there is better water out there, but we're not supposed to go there because it's dangerous out there, right? And water is close by, but it's, yeah, and I'm pretty sure that they are already sick, and I can see it in their eyes. Like, look at these eyes, and you pull them a little bit down, you see red there, and it shouldn't be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that I was going to suggest that maybe we do pay attention, but I don't think that's quite right because that's more for like out in the terrain. But what you could be doing is innovate. So there's a special move called innovate. And what that is whenever a rabbit attempts to do something that is not known to be able to be done by rabbits, in this case, medical evaluations, checking out you're sick, you're young, right? You would make a roll. Does that sound good to you, Carrot? Or
that sounds good. Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure it has something to do with being shrewd, which I'm not.
So when you do something unheard of, imagine what your actions would look like as a move. Say what triggers the move, and then roll. Well, we've kind of sorted it out. Like maybe it's like when you search for signs of the water sickness, would be the trigger, right?
Yes.
And then you just roll 2 dice, no modifier. Do you want to roll for your party room? I can get one for you.
Yes.
Our room is going to be called Really Relieved Octopus. I'll put it right here in the link. Boom.
Two D6 and 6.
A 6. On a miss, it's not something rabbits can ever do, and there will certainly be consequences.
Yeah.
You have had a suspicion about this water sickness for a while now, and Suntail is kind of confirming it, right? And maybe you routinely check in on Huawei and Wei, right, to see if there's any like signs of them getting this sickness that you've heard rumors about, right? And unfortunately, it onsets pretty quickly to the point of like where you can't do anything about it by the time it onsets. And in fact, one of your kits will say why is you go in close and you hear that like faint raspy breath and that sinking of the cheeks. Whatever this is, it's spreading.
Mm-hmm.
And why may not make it?
I think I'm panicking.
Yeah, you can put a I think a panic is probably appropriate. So, Cabbage and Coriander. Tell me about Ghost's Hole. Ghost is a really, really old rabbit, an elder rabbit, right? From Coriander, I want to know why she's called Ghost. And from Cabbage, I want to know what is particular about her little hovel, her little hole, that is an evidence of how old she is. Does that make sense? Either something she's collected or something she keeps about her person. Why is she called Ghost, Coriander?
I'm guessing that I spend a lot of time with the older ones and listen to their stories, so they're kind of used to me. Yeah. And the story of Ghost is always a favorite because Ghost is known when she was younger. It was said she was so fast that you would see her, and suddenly she wouldn't be there, and you'd turn and she'd be somewhere else. She was like a ghost in the desert itself. Poof, poof. There she was.
Do you tell that story to Cabbage right now as you're going to her hole?
Sure, yeah.
I'll let you get your move off. Storyteller. Roll shrewd.
6, 8.
All right. I think on a 7-9 you knock down one.
I do.
7-9 reduced panic by 1. Yep.
Do I get to count myself in that? It says my listeners, so I don't know if it works on me or not.
I think it's just your listeners. Yeah.
Okay.
So Cabbage.
Nice.
So Cabbage, you reduce your panic by 1. Cabbage, how do you? Coriander serves this really important function in the community, right? Like, how do you feel about Coriander stories? You've already kind of said already that you trust Coriander to a certain degree, but how does it make you feel that, like, why do you feel less panicked right now?
Because it makes me, since Corey's telling tales of, Rabbit's past, since she keeps a record of all the great deeds of our Warren, it reminds me that if those rabbits have made it this long, no reason why we can possibly make it as long too. Just like a reminder of how long long lived in rabbit years they are. So that's the main thing.
I love it. Tell me about Ghost's little hole. I don't know, hovel. I don't know what to call them. They're her lair. What does it look like?
Well, I think it's. I'd say it's probably the deepest hole in the Warren, and that's because she's lived so long. She's been able to burrow that deep, and it's particularly notable to Cabbage because whenever I come and visit, when I'm deep down, I can't even hear like the other rabbits making fun of my ears when I'm deep down there.
Nice, good, I love it. You get there, and Ghost is there. Coriander, did we establish what color her fur was? Did you say that in your story? I can't remember.
I didn't, but I'm guessing it's probably that sort of done so that she fades right into the desert.
Into the desert. Yeah, that's perfect. She's there when you get down there. Elder Rabbit. Oh, what was that?
Bless you, Garrett.
She's down there and she says, Cabbage and Coriander, I'm going to guess that you're here to ask me about Suntail. Word has reached me that he is not well.
You're so wise, Ghost. Yes, that is exactly why we came.
He's got the gurgles.
The gurgles. She says, well, pull up some dirt. We'll walk through this together. And you do, let's just do the move real quick. Coriander, you were kind of taking point on this, so why don't you give me the roll?
What am I rolling?
It is going to be, let's see. When you ask one of your elders for guidance, roll plus shrewd.
All right. Oh, snake eyes.
She says, I know that Fig is agitating about the water and thinks that everyone should move. But I think Fig is wrong. I think I have lately felt an absence. I have felt that the spirits, for whatever reason, are looking askance at our Warren, and one of them has perhaps even turned his eyes away from us. And the only way we're going to be able to save Chief Suntail or stop whatever is going on here, reducing our numbers, is if we appease the spirit. And that segues perfectly into my question about which spirit has turned its eyes away from you, Cabbage, and why. You can do it in scene if you want.
Yes. Well, perhaps. Well, we haven't been producing many. Our litters have been running dry as a desert desert oasis or desert watering holes these days, like in recently. And I know you said he, but perhaps it's she that who has turned upon us, the mother. I mean, yeah, our litters aren't as big as they used to be. I mean, I guess fig notwithstanding, I guess. But and she probably sounds a little jealous, maybe when she says that. But do you think it could be the mother who's displeased with us?
If it is the mother, then it is a very, very grave situation indeed. So you think the problem then is not the litters are not small because the spirits have turned their eyes from us, but the spirits have turned their eyes from us because the litters are small. We're not making enough babies. Is that what you're saying? That we have caused grave offense to the mother?
Oh, maybe. I mean, I'm sure we're all doing what we can, and Cabbage is sounding very skittish right now because she does not have a litter of her own. As Fig had noted, I'm sure was a Cutter. I'm sure Cutter's not the only buck in the Warren who can't like stop staring at my ears, and not in a good way, not in like an alluring way.
Oh.
But I mean, is that what we need to do? Just start having more babies?
There is only one solution. The only way to get the mother's attention, to earn her favor back again, is to conceive and birth a grand litter within the great womb across the desert.
Well, I guess we can do it. I guess I'll have to, I don't know. I wouldn't know so much about that. I think at this point I may have a question to pose for everyone, and not just Jason, but in the Warren, is it typically the male who initiates the whole mating process thing? How does that all? I mean, I guess I'm posing the birds and the bees question, or the
like how do the courtships work? I mean, I suppose you guys can do whatever you want, right?
Okay, yeah, I didn't know there was any. Well, I'm sure, being a PTB, an apocalypse game, I'm sure it's all up to us anyway, but that's just a question that came to my mind now. But anyway, something to ponder as we continue playing, I guess. And maybe I just start looking. I don't know how awkward Corey's feeling, but certainly I made a comment. Just her ears are probably blushing, like turning even brighter red than they usually are.
Why is
we have a lot about sniffing. Sniffing is unusual.
I'm going to cut away briefly. Back to Cutter. Cutter, you're going to bolt, right?
Yes, I'm running for the nearest hole.
Yeah. Well, so question. I mean, there might be a chance that the coyote doesn't actually know where the rabbit warren is, right? And so you may like just bolt right to where and show him where the warren is, right? So think about that as well. But you may not have time to worry about that, right?
Yeah, I've thought about that, but that's not what Cutter would think.
Yeah. So let's just have the roll. Let's see how that goes. That's going to be.
Well, that would be a
bolt.
3 plus 2 is 5.
So you're having a run of bad rolls. He just, and you got a few stacked up, so I'm gonna make this pretty hard. You attempt to bolt, and he's like, I really, really hate to make the inevitable so painful and frightening. And he lunges forward and just like snatches you up in his jaws. You're taking a scar, and you're also in his jaws, which will require you can decide how you want to react, but you can choose to struggle to get free, right? That's a move. I think that's a move. There should be a struggle move, right? Did I make that up? Yeah, there's a special move. When you struggle to free yourself, roll plus strong. Or you can just say that like Cutter's fucked and make a new rabbit. It's up to you.
No, Cutter is going to fight. He's going to try to get his kicking leg into the face of that coyote.
What's your genes?
So do you want to make the struggle roll, or do you want to try to innovate and do something rabbits have never done before?
No, I'm struggling.
Okay, go for it. Roll plus strong.
Oh yeah, here we go. 10 plus strong is 1, 11.
Okay.
It was all just a trap for that coyote.
You do manage to wriggle free. You manage to wriggle free, and you're out of his jaws. That's good. You're momentarily safe, and he kind of like smiles and says, "You've got a little bit of kick, a little bit of fighting spirit. I like that. This is going to be fun." What do you do? Do you bolt again?
I look at him with stare into his eyes, and then I bolt, but not away. I bolt kind of under him to try to surprise him.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your scar, because the way the scar works is you basically no longer get the use of a particular basic move. It sounds like you're not choosing bolt. So,
nope. Let's see.
But there's another one that you just can't use anymore.
Right. Should I choose that now?
Yeah, I think so. Just so that we can kind of, in case the scene needs to, in case we need to invoke something. So,
well, let's try. I think maybe speak plainly, because I'm so excited that I would.
Okay. And so basically now we'll talk about the long-term consequences, like why you can no longer do that. But this is a permanent thing, right? You can no longer ever speak plainly. But you may roll to bolt again. So.
All right.
Roll plus swift.
An 11 plus 1, 12.
Nice.
No, it's
on
plus
10 plus,
2.
You run like the wind. Go ahead, just give me the whole scene. Describe how you get away.
Yeah, so he's gloating about how he's excited by this fight. Obviously, he thinks he can win. I stare him in the eyes, and just when he's the most self-satisfied, I bolt right under his forelegs. He's sort of sitting, so I bolt right through there. He tries to snatch at me with his mouth, but he's pointed in the wrong direction, and I'm gone. By the time he can turn his head around, I'm gone off into the bushes.
Nice. And you can get back safely to the warren if you wish. If you want to just get back to the warren, it's up to you.
Go into one of the holes.
Yeah, that's perfect. Excellent. Thank you. It was a good scene. Fig. You just learned that Y is dying, and it's very. What do you do?
It's time to move. It's time to move. We can't stay here. The water is poisoned. It tastes metallic. Everybody can taste it. It's obvious. We need to move on.
Let's put you together, if you guys don't mind. Let's put you together with Cabbage and Coriander, who've just consulted with Ghost. So have that scene.
Yeah. Let's have also Ghost around, because she's too old to make such decisions, to talk with others.
Ghost never comes out of her hole. She lives in a deep hole. Never comes out.
Typical. So typical.
Can I ask something real quick before we leave, Ghost?
Sure. Yeah.
She talked about the Great Womb.
The Great Womb, yeah.
Wise Ghost, I've not heard a story of the Great Womb. Where is this thing?
She will tell you that just beyond the noisy stones, there's a great ridge. All the colors of the horizon at dawn, reds and golds and blues. There you will see a rock formation that looks like a great pair of rabbit's ears. Not so great as Cabbage's, but quite impressive nonetheless. And there, the cave system there beneath that rock formation, that is the great womb from which all rabbits were born. And on your map, it's that like little rainbow-colored ridge there. So.
Thank you, Ghost.
Yes.
We'll leave you.
And she dozes off.
Oh. On my way to the others, it's important that I bring rabbits together, that we can make an important decision. And so I might have the chance to talk plainly, to speak plainly with some of the others who live here. Like with Mattail, the father, the latest fathers of my babies, especially with Bramble, Cutter's mother. Where's Cutter, by the way? Anyway, but Bina, when she's not with Suntail for a moment, she might also come with us. And that we can convince the others, especially Coriander. If we can convince Coriander he tells the right stories to the rest of the Warren, then we are done. Then we are good.
So you want to gather up the whole Warren? I mean, let's have the scene where maybe like, I mean, I assume at some point Cabbage and Coriander will also share like what they think has to be done, right? Based off what Ghost said. And we'll get Cutter. But Cutter, you can join the scene whenever you wish, looking scared as hell. Okay. But let's have that scene. You're all gathered. It's a big. Let's say there's like a big central chamber in the Warren, and the rabbits like kind of tuck in tight, and the airing of grievances, the formulation of plans. Right. I'm gonna mute your mic for a second there. The airing of grievances, the formulations of plans, and you are Cabbage and Coriander have just, they have what they believe is going to be the thing. So Benna, I think will, as this sort of like default chief, will kind of say, we've been having a we're in the middle of a very scary time, and we have to make some decisions about what must be done. What must we do if Suntail doesn't make it? And where do we go from here? Coriander and Cabbage, you've consulted with Ghost. What has she said?
Wise Ghost says that the spirits have turned away from us, that perhaps the mother has looked away because we are not producing as many children as we should. And she says we must go to the great womb, and there we can pull the spirits back to us.
And how are you meant to do this? What did she say you have to do once you reach the great womb?
A litter must be born there, like the first rabbits.
Yes, the great womb lies under the painted cliffs, just beyond the noisy stones, where there's also supposed to be water there sometimes.
There's a coyote! There's a coyote! There's a coyote!
What?
Cutter comes tearing in, and kind of barrels into your group that's calmly collected, and is yelling, and he just keeps saying, "Coyote! It's right behind me!" He turns around, jumps around, and looks back at the hole, and there's no coyote coming. Kind of advances back up toward the hole.
Benna says, Cutter, where have you been? What have you been doing?
Look back.
I think
I was out by the boats. I was on guard. I'm sorry.
Your mother Bramble comes up and says, on guard? That's perfectly ridiculous. You're not old enough to be on patrol. What were you doing up there?
I'm old enough. I stand up. Mama, I'm old enough. Someone needs to stand guard. I kind of settled down. I was by the bones, and there was a coyote.
Bramble says, Benna, please continue. And Benna says, so then we go to the Great Womb. Does anyone have an objection to this? We go to the Great Womb and we produce a fine litter of kits to appease the mother.
I will do so.
You will be the one to go and mate. You are the most fertile among us.
The most fit.
How do you feel about this, Cabbage? About Fig just throwing her fertility around all over the place?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that drives her. It drives me crazy. So she's so sure of herself. She's just because she. I'm trying not to make human euphemisms here.
Sure, yeah.
Just because she's so fertile, it doesn't mean she gets. I mean, it's great that she's fertile, but does she have to like lord it over everyone like this?
She has to. Yes. It's for the Warren.
But Fig, you still have kits that haven't even weaned. It could be several nights before you have the chance to breed again.
We should stop talking here. This is not leading us anywhere. But my kids are dying one after another. We are losing rabbits here. We need to move there.
Then it's settled, Benna says. Fig and any other rabbits who wish to undertake this mission, we should probably have a mix of does and bucks. We'll go to the Great Womb beneath the Rainbow Ridge, and we'll get to appeasing the mother.
I'm old enough to go.
Bramble leans into Benna and to anybody else, maybe Cabbage, maybe Fig, and says, he's old enough to go, even though he still sleeps with the litter. Hasn't peeled off yet, but ready to go a-mating.
He's not the smartest, though.
And yet, Benna says, he has spotted a coyote, and perhaps he, having contended with the beast, it would be good for him to go just because he understands the coyote's ways and can be of some assistance in case they should spot him again. And then she kind of like winks at you, Cutter, like having just bought you a ticket on the mission. Well, it's settled then, and Venice, and so basically, I mean, obviously the four of you are going to go, but maybe the four of you and maybe one other rabbit, like a backup doe or something, right?
Backup doe.
Why can't I be the backup though?
It's the ears.
I think there'll probably even be I think there'll be a little bit of consternation about that because you've never given birth to a litter, but then some will say, but no one can hear, like Cabbage, and so Cabbage you get the Cabbage can hear really well treatment again to go with this particular mission.
Put the freak on scout duty.
Exactly. I think probably let's see who goes. Let's just pick another lady rabbit from the list here.
For Cutter, it would be good to take his mother with him. The way he behaves.
Well, he actually has a sister named Desert Blossom.
I like Bramble, and we can take Bramble and Desert Blossom both. We'll take them both. Maybe Bramble doesn't like the idea of you going out, right? But Bramble also likes the idea of Desert Blossom being the rabbit that saves the Warren, right? So.
Things look kind of up for me if we're taking your sister along.
Cutter used to have a thing for Desert Blossom when a few weeks ago when he was little.
Indeed. So this is good. We'll head out. Let's just take a quick 2 or 3 minute break and we'll come back. Okay.
Harry, where are you from?
I'm in Pasadena, near Los Angeles.
Gotcha. I'm on the other side of America. I'm in upstate South Carolina.
Oh, cool. I was in Virginia until 7 years ago.
Gotcha. We're battening down for a potential hurricane.
Yeah. How bad is it looking for you?
My area is not so much of a problem, except I'm supposed to go to vacation in Charleston next week, and that'd be about when it hits. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Anything you guys want to do before you set out?
What's that?
Anything you want to do before you set out?
I think I'm good. We have an idea of where it's going, where we're going.
True enough, true enough. So, we've decided you guys are at the Bones, which is, you know, a little stretch away from the Rainbow Ridge. I'm mostly curious about who's leading the expedition of the four of you, who would be in the lead.
Well, Cutter, even though he doesn't know where he's going, would be in the lead.
This might be a really great chance for like a cocky story, I feel like. You boast about your future deeds because everyone's worried about the dangers, right? There's the coyote, right? Like, you know, you could just make up a story about the coyote, like, right? Like what you're gonna do next time you see that coyote, right? But my main question now, that you can do that in a minute. Like, my main question now is, are you guys gonna like? You can basically go the fast way, which has you like darting across open land, or you can go the slow way, which is like sticking to the shadows in the brush and kind of going around, right? Like a little more slowly. So both have their advantages and disadvantages, right? What do you think, Cutter?
Oh, it's so tempting to go the fast way. But having just seen the coyote and wanting to preserve Fig, if not everyone else, I think the smart way, because this is what Chief Suntail would do. He would take us through the shadows. I'm like Chief Suntail.
Indeed, indeed.
I
So,
will guide you.
yeah, is that like? Do you want to do a little cocky thing, or what? Do you want to make a speech here?
I know what the coyote smells like, and I can keep him away from us, and if he gets anywhere near us, I'll run him off.
Indeed, indeed. You get hold one. You can spend that hold to remind yourself and others about your deeds and take. If it proves true, yeah. When you boast about future deeds and your boast proves true, hold one. So we'll see. Cabbage, though, you're the one who's like the scout, right? You got your super sweet ears,
and very bad vision, which doesn't bode well for traveling over rocky terrain. But
what would you do, like on the outset of a little ranging here? Like, how would you approach it?
How would I approach what? I'm sorry.
What would you do at the outset of this ranging? Like, you know.
Oh, yes. Well, I think I'd probably want to stick. I probably just want to follow close on the heels of one of the other rabbits, because again, rocking over rocky terrain, not exactly my comfort zone. Primarily just keep an ear out. Maybe I'm assuming that even with a regular level of banter, that I'd still be able to hear over that with my with my finely honed ears, so I won't worry about that too much. But mostly, I guess I'd maybe I'd probably just I don't think Corey would need any prompting, but if it ever gets like a little too quiet, I'd probably ask for like a ripping tale or two to liven the journey. But always keeping a wary ear out for unusual sounds, especially coyote type sounds.
And indeed, up ahead, no one else can hear it, but it pings you first, right? Or maybe they hear it eventually, but it pings you first. You hear like you hear like kind of a scratching sound, right? What do you do?
Is it scratching along the ground, or well, I mean, I guess there's nothing else it could be scratching against, right? There's
Well, there's probably like some high rock above you, right? Like a cliff or whatever above you, right? If you're trying to stay in the shadow of that, we'll say.
What direction does it sound like it's coming from?
Give me pay attention. Roll plus shrewd.
Okay. Oh wait, I've got dice set up.
And you also, how's your little move work?
A 7 counts as a 10.
Okay. And what are you doing? Are you doing hearing?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Since it's a scratching sound, that's attracting my attention. I've generated a set 7, which, as I just noted, counts as a 10.
Sweet. You can go ahead and ask away.
Okay. I get 2. So, what here is the greatest danger?
Yeah, the coyote, and I'm gonna give the coyote a name so Coriander can tell you guys a story. Maybe the coyote, whose name is, let's see, he's in the little setup here. The Sly One. The Sly One is he is in the high parts of the hills and cliff face. Like he's roaming around up there. Right? You can hear him. And I think you know it because he's whistling. That's what you hear.
Oh.
He's whistling like a little, whistle while I work kind of charming stripper song. Right?
Yeah. So in order to take advantage of my special move, I guess the second question has to be something that could reasonably be answered by sound.
No, I can handle anything. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, where can I flee to?
Yeah. You will hear like a sort of susurrus type sound, of wind blowing through like when wind blows through like a hole a certain way, it'll make like a whistling, echoey kind of sound. It's an indication that somewhere in the cliff face wall up ahead, there is a tunnel that you might be able to use to not only hide from the Sly One, but also like kind of get maybe cut out some of the journey here too.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll as loudly as Cabbage usually says in her soft-spoken voice, she'll proclaim, "Everyone, the Sly One is here, and he's got his claws out. Follow me!" And then Cabbage start hopping towards that crevice that she heard the wind kicking up in.
I think if you're all going to go for this, I think I'm going to need a resist panic from you all because you'll have to expose yourselves momentarily to get to that hole. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
You get a +1 forward, Cabbage, because you're following up on your move.
Right.
But everybody else, I just need resist panics from you, please. That's steady.
Oh, so that means I don't generate a panic roll?
You get a +1. You get a +1 on it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Cutter got a 7.
7? Okay. We'll resolve them in a
I
minute.
got a 4.
I got an 8.
Okay. And who knows how Bramble and
I got a 5. That's a steady roll, right?
Yeah, good. Those of you who got 7s, or 8, 7 to 9 rather, you will manage to keep it together, but you take +1 panic. Okay. Describe to me just your rabbits getting to that hole once it's pointed out by Cabbage. Like Coriander, how does it go?
I turn quickly to to Fig and to Bramble and to I can't remember her name, but quickly, come.
Flower, yeah.
And I scratch out. I mean, there's the full dust back behind me, but I'm trying to herd them along with me towards this hole.
All right, awesome. And what about you, Cutter?
Well, Cutter's first thought is he's going to be brave and scout and go up toward the coyote to see if the coyote has noticed us at all. But then he gets just a few feet and then realizes he's not that brave and he runs for it.
Okay,
probably at the back of the pack.
Awesome.
Paused.
I love it. Fig, you rolled a miss, right?
Yes,
You're going to take +1 panic as you cower, hesitate, or flee. Which do you want?
I flee.
All right. I think what's going to happen here is you're going to run. I'm going to give you an option here, Fig. It's really Garrett. I'm giving you an option. Fig can flee, but to a place that's not in the safe hole. Okay. Or you can flee to the safe hole, but only if you essentially feed bramble or cactus flower to the coyote by like kind of getting like diverting attention to them or something, right? Whichever decision you make, bramble or cactus flower.
Yes. I really want to see cactus flower down, but unfortunately, I only get bramble.
What does it look like? How do you like expose, like how do you like basically feed bramble to the wolves here, to the coyote as it were?
But bramble is also hesitating, and well, it's her fault that she hesitated, and I run into her direction and I say, come with me, and I know she can't at the moment, so I jump over her, hoping that whatever is behind me is like just catching her and not me anymore. And I'm not turning around anymore, but I can hear sounds. I can hear like breaking of a bone, of a very important bone. A neck? I think so. I'm running.
Well, hold that thought. Coriander, you got a miss too, right?
No, I got the 8.
Cabbage. Cabbage, do you cower, hesitate, or flee?
Oh, I feel like on a failure, I cower, hesitate, or flee. What would be the? I kind of envision making a run for it, but since I've got that bad eyesight, maybe I'm just tripping over the
wrong
rocks.
direction.
That sounds like a good way to go. Yeah.
Or it could be that you, I think what I'll leave it up to you. I'll give you the choice. You could run in the wrong direction, or you can take a scar, like in getting away because you can't see well, you injure yourself.
I like that one. I like the scar option.
Okay. Give me the scene. Like, how do you hurt yourself, and then tell me what basic move you're going to get rid of.
Yeah. So even though she got the head start because she's the one who called it. Because she's got that terrible eyesight, she's basically just like kicking up a bunch of rocks. She doesn't even know where to stop. So she's probably just like stumbling. She was probably like stumbling a lot the whole journey over, especially since we've chosen the short, rocky, stealthy route. For the good it's done us, unfortunately. But basically she just makes like 10 times the mess as she's trying to scramble over these rocks. And eventually I think she's what's the
maybe Sly One bites her like before she gets away, possibly. I don't know.
Sure, yeah. And let's see, what's the let's say she gets one of her paws wounded up and she can't dig anymore.
Okay.
Or even both her paws might have been wounded to the point where she can't.
Well, you can't choose. You have to choose a basic move, not a special move.
Oh, ooh, this makes it okay.
Yeah, it's a tougher decision, right?
Yeah. You know what? I bet I'm gonna maybe let's do the help hinder move, and maybe the scar is more psychological than anything else. Like she's always so
no, not for myself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The last time I tried to help them, look what happened.
Right.
So
no more helping.
You all get away. You're in this little like whistling hole or whatever, whenever the wind comes through. And Cactus Flower is like, Mother, where's Mother? Where's she at?
Yeah, where's Mom? What happened to her?
And then you hear a voice that says, "Oh gosh, little rabbit, it looks like they left you behind. What a bummer. I mean, your own kids even? Tragic. Really, really tragic. But hey, I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to be your friend forever." And then you just hear this like sickening, like squishy, crunching sound of blood and bone. And in silhouette, in shadow, you just see Bramble's body being tossed in the air, a midair sprinkler of blood falling back down to the ground. The sly one satiated.
What an awful animal.
Come on, Cactus Flower. Cutter. Go away. You shouldn't see that.
I just slink to into the cave and go and try to comfort Cactus Flower.
You continue on eventually. Unless you want a scene here. Do you guys need any more scene? If we could.
Well, it would be good to have a nice little relaxation part. Not that relaxation exactly the right word, but a catching of breath and
let's read
a
that.
morning maybe.
Yeah. When you play groom or rest in relative safety, subtract 1 from your panic. A morning would be good. I'd like to hear that actually, and I'll reduce your panic if you guys participate in this. When someone passes in the Warren, what sort of rituals or rites do you engage in to memorialize them? Whoever has any thoughts on that can throw out there, and maybe we can build on it a little bit.
I think we probably speak something like our thoughts are the good thing that we remember about them, maybe. Because a lot of times we won't have a body or anything.
Yeah. Actually, you know what would be really lovely here is if Coriander told a story about Bramble, and then that would be an even more efficient way of getting your panic down. Right?
All right.
Are you ready to do that, or?
Yeah, I could throw.
Whip something up.
as I pull us all together, it's Cactus Flower Cutter. I remember Bramble. When everybody in the Warren would get completely flustered, she'd say, "You stop that. You sit down. Cutter, be good." She always was watching out for us. She knew how to make the Warren calm. She always took care of all the little ones, and even if we don't see her, I think we'll remember that Bramble's there. She's watching out for us. She's still wanting us to be calm and to get through this. It's because she loves us, and she won't ever really be gone. We just won't see her.
I love it. Roll your move. Roll Shrewd.
That's a 7, 8, 9.
Maybe help would be helpful here. If somebody wants to embellish the story a little bit.
I got nothing.
We refuse to help.
Damn.
And you can feel it.
To be clear, Cabbage has got nothing because she can't mechanically.
Right, exactly.
Fig's got nothing because Fig is kind of a bitch.
Cutter, do you have some?
Poor Cutter is in shock, but seeing that his sister is hurt, he will try to help with the story by telling Cactus Flower that Mama was always one of the smartest bunnies in the Warren, and she's not here now, but she wanted us to come on this trip. She knows it's important, and we have to press on.
Give me a roll plus for the help. Roll plus shrewd, please.
Ooh, 10.
Okay, that bumps you up to a 10 then, Coriander. So the audience gets to reduce. You each get to reduce your panic by 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a good move on that one. So, good.
Is this enough of a relaxation that I can take?
Yeah,
one
you
off
can
as
take
well?
one down as well. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. What's your current panic right now?
That'll take me down to 1.
Okay.
I don't put my panic down because I don't deserve it.
That's fair enough.
My
I think
fault.
that's
I know.
totally legit. Yeah, you feel too guilty, right? I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the sun is fairly high in the sky. I think at this point, if we look at the map, that was a great scene, by the way. If we look at the map, I think at this point you're probably at the noisy stones at this point. Okay, like if we see that, so you're getting pretty close.
Oh boy.
I think the little tunnel led out of that little hillock there by the sharp stones, and now you're at the noisy stones. Probably called the noisy stones because there are lots of these like rocks and things that have the little like the erosion has eroded these holes into them, right? And so as the wind goes through, it kind of makes this whistling, almost like didgeridoo-ish kind of sound, right? Like a wah, 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 kind of sound. And so you're there. You're at the noisy stones. I think. Let me take a look at my moves for just a second. I think as you are all taking stock of what's going on, I think you're going to be aware of a couple of things. The first thing you're going to be aware of is that there is patrolling the sky. Patrolling the sky right now is like a hawk or a falcon, some sort of bird of prey, okay? Patrolling the sky. The Rainbow Ridge, you don't see anything necessarily, but the big danger of the Rainbow Ridge is mountain lions, okay? So you have a choice to make. You can basically hug the ridge, in which case you might be kind of exposed to the mountain lions, or you can take your chances out in the open, in which case you've got to deal with the hawk. So, the ridge, sorry. So, yeah. You guys should have that scene, though. You're presently safe. Like
Going out in the open, the hawks, we can outrun something on the ground, but you can't outrun a hawk.
Yeah, I run up the ridge. I'm especially interested in how Coriander, especially, he has talked fantastic stories. Like I was quite impressed, and so I want to learn if he is worth a mating partner. So I run up and see who is following me.
So this is a
Or if
test.
he's
You're
just a story.
revolting for the ridge
Yes.
to see who's brave enough to follow you. Well, Coriander, are you
Yes.
brave enough?
If he's
Or
worth a
Cutter?
is he worth a mating
Cutter
partner?
takes off after you.
I want resist panics if you're following Fig.
So I suggest not going out in the open, and Fig immediately runs up. Huh.
But look at you, Coriander.
Cutter, if you follow Fig, I want to resist panic. This is for
All right,
you.
here it goes. Let's see. What is that plus? Resist panic is plus steady, which is just a 6.
Fig, you think you can help in that? Sounds like Coriander wasn't helping because Coriander's like, no, don't do it. But Fig, you're the one who's like goading him on.
Yes, I mean, what my rabbit instincts, they want to find the best mating partner, especially before we reach the womb. So I don't know why I ran up there. Actually, it came out of my instincts. And so I see Cutter it's following me, so I want him to return to get down with me again because it's dangerous up there. Help you, yes.
So what do you do? What do you say? Or what? How do you
Turn-
basically Cutter's going to follow you, but he's going to freeze up if you don't help him in some way.
Turn around and say, "Stop! You're not going up there. I just thought I heard a noise, but there isn't something. Let's go down again."
Those are so confusing.
Interesting. So you're basically trying to like get him to not panic by basically saying like, "Oh, I don't intend for you to follow me," or something like that.
Yes.
Let's see how that goes. Roll plus shrewd.
-1. I'm
See,
so good
we're
at not
meant
being
for
good.
each other. We're the dumbest bunnies.
But I'm not. I rolled a 10 in total.
Nice. So that bumps you up to a
Uh-huh.
7 to 9 on the resist panic. So you manage to keep it together, but you take +1 panic.
Right.
But you manage to keep it together. You're going to join up with Fig whether Fig wants it or not. So what happens here?
So yeah, I come out and pause for a second. Is this a good idea? Look up in the sky, and then, but wait, it's Fig out there. Fig's in danger. So I start running or hopping after you, and then you tell me, wait, go back, and I'm confused. So I stop
We
then.
should be up here.
Okay, all right, I run after you.
He just ignores you and comes anyway.
I sense something. Yeah. Hopefully the others came up with a solution what to do when we return. Something useful.
So basically, you guys are split up now. Like, I mean, Fig and Cutter are up on the ridge, and so Cabbage and Coriander. Like, what do you guys do?
I'll look at Cabbage and what wasn't that exactly what I said not to do?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd rather take my chances with the mountain lions. It's easier to hear them than the hawks flapping in the air.
But we can't let them just go alone, though.
Wait, something occurs to me. The noisy rocks. Is that like deafening to me with my hearing sense?
I don't know. I mean, if you think that's interesting, sure. But
okay, we're not. Okay, it's not. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, it's yeah, I don't know where we should. No, it's definitely safer down here.
Stay, and I'll try to go and quietly see if I could get them to come back. Surely they wouldn't have gone far.
It looks like they're running around in circles. I don't even think they know what they're doing.
So I'll hop just kind of a little closer, going, "Hey, no, this way."
Yeah, I'll see. I just heard the hopping getting like louder than softer again because again with eyesight.
What are they doing? Coriander, you're going to try to go out there to go out from the safety of the brush that you're in to like go get their attention, or what?
Yes, I'm probably going to go and try.
That's a resist panic, especially with that hawk circling around.
Yes. Oh, idiots. Well, that's an 8. That's an 8.
Okay, so you get 1 panic, but you're otherwise good to go. Just give me the scene.
I'll scoot up to where I can kind of, again, I'm trying to keep as much cover as possible as I get up close. And do I see them up there?
Sure. Yeah.
This is, you're way too exposed. Come back quickly. Fig, Cutter, come on. And I'll, start skidding back, pushing back towards where I left the 2 does.
Fig and Cutter, you're already on the ridge. You're halfway there.
We're out here. I think we press on.
Yes.
I mean, Corey, this could be a chance to speak plainly.
That's we've left Cactus Flower and Cabbage back there. There's no way they should try and run out here in the open. You need to hurry back. You're plenty fast enough to get back down here. We can skirt the edge and then the hawk.
Yeah, I look up in the sky and see the hawk.
I'll try and roll.
I got to think about. I can't remember how Speak Plainly works with PCs. Let me take a look real quick. Proper assurances.
I'm not sure if it does.
It may not. Yeah, it may not matter.
It may not be able to.
Yeah.
Could this possibly be a compete?
It could be. Yeah, I mean, it would be a compete if like one of them was having like second thoughts and then they were trying to like argue about it or whatever, right? I mean, which could be interesting. So maybe we don't need to roll here for that. But like, I guess I will just like ping. Let's just ping the other two rabbits. I mean, Fig, what are you thinking right now? And Corey says this.
Well, I don't understand why I ran up here anyway, but now that Cutter is saying that we're on the right track and we're halfway there anyway, I'm split. Cutter needs to make the decision.
Cutter, how are you feeling?
Cutter has already started pressing on and looking for a path forward.
Mm-hmm. Cutter, you can give me a pay attention.
Oh, that would be 5.
5. Okay. So we'll say Cutter is like ahead of you. I think you've gotten ahead of the group a little bit. You just press forward to see what's going on. We'll get to that in a minute. And meanwhile, Fig, you don't know where Cutter's gotten off to. And Coriander, you don't know where Cutter's gotten off to. Cabbage, you hear it before any of the rest of them do. Cutter hears it too, but you hear it. You hear, "Hey, bud. Sorry about your mom back there. I wasn't even hungry. Just left her body bleeding in the sand. Crazy, right? But I'm feeling a little peckish right now, as it turns out." And you see the sly one like crawling right above you in the ridge. Perfect pouncing range.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
Resist panic.
Yep. Resist panic is steady. That's a 6.
That's 6. Which do you do? Flee or the other two things, which are.
I'm not sure the difference between cower and hesitate.
Or maybe I'm not supposed to choose. Maybe I just do. Maybe that's just a turn of phrase he uses there. Let's see. The GM will tell you what to do.
My inclination would be to flee forward. In other words, not to bring the sly one back to Fig.
I'm going to give you an option here. You can flee forward, and you will either you'll get away clean, but not before you have to get a nasty bite from the sly one. Okay. Or you can not get away clean, you get caught, but I'll give you a chance to struggle. But if the struggle fails, I think that's probably it for Cutter. So choice is yours.
I think it narratively is better if I make a run for it and get caught.
Okay.
And once again find myself in the same mouth.
Yep. You make a dash for it, and he's like, no, and just like leaps down and like scoops you right up. And he kind of tosses you in the air first, and he's like, "You taste just like your mom." And then he like snatches you up again. What do? I assume you're going to struggle.
Yes, I'm struggling. And I got a whopping 4.
Poor Cutter. Are you ready to retire, Cutter?
I think so. It's the time.
I think I want, rather than seeing it on screen, I want Cabbage to describe what it sounds like.
Oh. I think the most horrible thing is that he's crying for his mom as he heads into the maw of the sly one, and that's the most heartbreaking thing about it. And
Awesome.
Cabbage is actually just like trying to hold her ears down because she doesn't want to hear this, but she can't help it.
Let's take a quick break. Harry, do you want to be Cactus Flower?
Sure.
Right.
I'll gin her up.
Yeah, gin her up. We'll come back in a few.
Aw.
Oh, that goes so quickly.
Oh, so sad. Mama.
God,
Yeah, that was awesome.
You're so attractive as a mating partner.
Maybe you should go for brains instead of brawn.
Yes, I think that it didn't follow Cutter was a good idea. Yeah.
I'll say
Look at
that
you.
my odds have way increased now.
Yeah.
Yes. Indeed, yeah, because you were down to 0%.
But now I'm I'm the only game in town.
Yes.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, back in set.
My litter size is so low at the moment. Oh, how does it feel to die?
It's awful because he didn't get to fulfill his destiny.
Yes. But now you get 2 special moves, I think.
Oh, that's right. Have to look that up.
Yeah. There's something.
Well, Cactus Flower for sure isn't cocky. I'll have to figure out what the appropriate special moves are.
Yeah, you can spend the hold you have to give any rabbit an additional character move. You don't have to take it for yourself.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, I'm gonna get some water and then I'll come back.
Wow, one down.
Yes.
How sad.
Hmm. Only the sister left.
Yeah. Not a lucky family.
Oh.
Maybe she'll be smarter than her brother.
Well, both died because of me.
Yes. Yeah. Oh.
So sad when a rabbit dies. It was particularly like gruesome too, in its way.
Yeah, Fig, you're bad luck.
That's why she has to be so fertile, to make up for everyone who dies for her.
The fertile move is super interesting because I adjust the number of how much litter I produce depending on my current emotional situation. And so I can signal what is going on. It's super cool. And signal to myself as well.
All right. Did Harry stat out Cactus Flower?
Yeah.
Yep.
So my litter size currently is 2, which is very low.
Yeah. All right. Harry, are you all set with Cactus Flower? Do you need to know
I'm
yet?
still working on her, but continue. It is so easy to put these together. I'm just looking
Okay.
at character moves.
Okay, cool. So I'm not sure you even, well, Cabbage knows what happened to Cutter. Cabbage, maybe Coriander and Fig. Do you guys want to go back with the other two, or do you want to like keep where you're at?
I'm going to try and be asking, Fig, he's run off. You need to come with me where it's safe. Please follow me quickly.
So Cabbage, they're all back. Not with you know what happened to Cutter. How do you break it? How do you break the news? What do you say?
Oh, that's right. She'll softly hop up to Cactus or Desert Flower.
Cactus Flower.
Cactus Flower. I had it right the first time. And she'll just instinctively start nuzzling her ears and saying, and just almost whispers that, I'm so sorry, but the slime one was up there. And now your brother's with your mother now.
Oh, I knew we should never have come on this trip. I knew it was a bad idea.
It was a dangerous idea, but this, never. I don't know. I just I want to help, say something comforting, but I don't even know how. I don't even know how I could make some good out of this.
There may not be, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that Cactus Flower
everyone's
should
back, right?
start with at least one panic, maybe 2.
Yeah, just one's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So, where do you guys go from here? The ridge is clearly being patrolled by the Sly One. The Hawk is a distant threat, but nevertheless a threat.
We should skirt the cliff. Stay in the shadows. Wise rabbits stay in the shadows.
Let's get some sneak rolls on the table, huh?
That sounds like a good idea to me.
I stay close to Cabbage. I have the feeling that Cabbage could be of help here.
Next one up.
Look at those ears to hide behind.
Coriander, it was your plan. Do you want to roll the sneak roll?
Let's see, sneak. Yes, sure. Yeah, I'll do that.
For sure.
So stay behind me, and Cabbage, keep an ear out, and I'll start.
I'll keep both of them out.
I'll scoot between rock to rock.
Awesome. Well, shrewd.
That's a 6, 7, 8.
8. You have to. Okay, so you have to. You get to pick one. Basically, you will. The thing that you don't pick is like something that might expose you later, right? So.
All right. I think it sounded like I was doing behind cover.
Okay, sounds good. So you have cover, that's good, but you might be making a little bit of noise, you can be smelled, and you're leaving tracks. But you're otherwise sneaking about. I like that. I think the sneaking is going fine. And you eventually work your way around the ridge. You see the rock formation that looks vaguely like a rabbit. It's pretty vague. But you see the cave that's kind of in the fold of the little ridge there, right? There's a cave, and there are other rabbits there at the mouth of the cave. I think one of them hops up to you. It's a doe, and she is a sort of like she's a gray fur for sure. I mean, an old doe, right? Kind of interestingly, a color that is not great in this environment. I think she's like a black doe, like an old black doe. And she kind of like, and she's seen some shit because she's like clearly favors like one leg and she like hops up to you, right? Like she's seen some shit. And she hops up to you and she says, "My name is Midnight. I am the midwife of the Great Womb. Why have you come here, rabbits?"
Midnight, we come to appease the spirit of the Great Mother who's turned away from our warren. We wish.
We're here to make baby.
Yeah.
You've come to appease the mother. And what have you done to earn the mother's ire?
Have you done anything?
We moved to the desert, and since then we have not been blessed with large litters. Surely the mother must be displeased.
And so you think you're going to come here to the Great Womb and mate until you have pleased her?
Yes, Midnight. That's sort of the wow. Mate till we appease her. Wow.
And you are the only buck in your group of companions. I suppose you are being tasked with this holy mission.
I suppose I am.
He's a good talker. He would be a good father.
And with whom do you plan on mating?
I'll look back. I probably give like Cabbage the eye because she's always been the smartest and most capable of getting us out of trouble.
Oh?
Cactus Flowers blushing if bunnies could blush.
So you're giving the eye to Cabbage.
Cabbage is ready. Though, of course, Fig, if it would be some time before we could.
Oh no, I'm ready.
And yet I sense on you, Cabbage, that you have never given birth to a litter.
Yes, she can't.
I can too. You can't say that. You're not a wise medic woman. Well, bunny woman.
But I make babies and you don't.
Midnight goes over and says, "Surely, Buck, you have better options in this hearty, svelte
Oh, here we go.
rabbit here." Looking at Fig, her coat is lustrous and tawny, and she is thick with fat, which is amiable for the birthing of children. Or this rabbit here, so young. What is your name, young rabbit?
I look up. I'm Cactus Flower.
Flower, cactus flower. Her name is practically destiny. And do you want to instead mate with this great big-eared?
Cactus Flower, her family is cursed. Everybody is dying from them.
And yet she is the one who
Oh,
survived.
man. Cactus Flower just looks down and starts crying. Little sort of bunny whimpers.
Oh.
Coriander
Shut up.
will look at Fig and have this sort of look of, I can't believe you said that. And
It's true.
Cabbage is smart. Cabbage is always beside and helps me.
Silence, Buck. You are now at the womb of the Great Mother, and it is not for you to decide. Each of you hop forward and state your case to this jury of midwives, and other rabbits hop up. And I think this might be competition.
Okay.
Yeah, competition
So I
for
win.
rabbits. Let's see how let's read the competition rules so we can get those down. Let's see.
I know them.
When you compete with another PC rabbit, both of you choose a value on a die and then reveal it. If one rabbit's die shows a higher face, they get their way and choose a value from one of the dice. Both of you take that much panic. If neither is higher, no one gets their way and you both take panic. So she says, so basically it's going to be who are the first two rabbits step up on this is what I want to know. Like, is it going to be Fig? Clearly it's going to be Fig. Sounds like Fig is one of them. What about
Sure.
between Cactus Flower and Cabbage?
Cactus Flower looks over at Cabbage to see if Cabbage is going to make a move.
Cabbage is going to wait for. I'm trying. She's gonna wait. She's gonna look one more time at Corey, and if he gives any kind of like just even the slightest additional sign that I am in fact his like truly chosen one, she'll hop up to the plate. As much as she's fighting against years of mockery and just
Corey
I
will
guess
look
so.
over at you and do a little nose wiggle that you've seen before, and it's usually after he's told a story and you've told him how good the story was.
Yeah, she lunges forward, almost as if she were going to like hop into Corey, but instead is just hopping forward, towards
I think given the delay, Cactus Flower was just starting to move when you lunged forward, and now she's like even more cowed.
Aw.
Very well, large-eared Cabbage. State your case for why you should be allowed to mate in front of the Great Mother, and why you should be the savior of your warren.
Well, we've come here to make a new future for our tribe, for our warren. Fig is right. I've never birthed before. I've never been chosen. But now I have. We've heard it from Corey himself. And he's the one who's led us here.
He hasn't.
He wasn't.
I think it's the worst.
I don't remember. I don't remember you leading us towards the, taking the path, hugging the cliffs. You're the one who led. You're the one who led. And she's actually starting to like get a little louder to what led Cutter up that hill right into the Sly One's fangs. That was you. That wasn't his family. That was cursed. That was just you trying to lead them on.
Cutter was leading us here.
Oh,
And because he died, we can be here. He died for us.
Well then,
For him.
Tawny Rabbit, luscious with birthing fat, state your case.
I'm the fattest.
Actually, you know what? At this point, I'm not finished yet. With all due respect, Midnight, I haven't finished my case
You
yet.
are.
I was just saying that we were brought here to start a new path. And yeah, maybe I do have these big freakish ears, but I have something new to offer. I've warned everyone of every danger that we've made it here, even though we've sadly lost two of ours.
It's not a great.
If I had, I know none of us would have made it here if I hadn't if these ears hadn't heard the scraping of that terrible coyote. And perhaps my children would would be blessed with this hearing as well, and everyone. Maybe it would just. Maybe it's just what we need to keep us safe, to be able to hear the future, not just wait for it to pounce upon us like we always have. That's all she's got to say.
Let's have well, shall we go to the compete then? Are we good here? So here's the way
I'm the fattest. I'm the only one who will survive birth here. Cabbage, we need you. We need you. Your long ears are helpful for our way back. We also need to find our way back with my babies. And therefore we need you. And if you die here because you get pregnant, and with a meager litter, which will still kill you, my babies are in danger. So please don't get pregnant. I will do that.
That's actually a very shrewd argument. This is the first time he's ever been complimented for her ears.
Fig is the worst. Yeah. All right, so okay, so here's how we're gonna do this. You're each gonna select a number on a d6. Okay. Now, remember, if you go high with your number, there's a chance you're gonna get a high panic too at the end. All right, so think about that. That's what's kind of at stake. But you're both gonna choose a number, and the way this is gonna work is you're gonna type it into the chat window here in the Google chat or in the Hangout chat. You're gonna type in your number on the count of 3. Okay, you guys ready? So do you have your number chosen? Oh, we can't hear you, Michael, if you're talking.
Right. Oh, I see. Okay, okay. I think I've got my number 2. Yeah, I think yeah. Okay. Yes, I'm ready.
Have you chosen a number, Fig?
I have chosen a number. Yes.
All right, here we go. On the count of 3, you're going to type in your number. 1, 2, 3. Fig wins. Fig.
And I can choose.
You get to choose how much panic you're both getting.
Yes, 2.
2. Okay, so both your panics are going up. And Midnight steps forward and says, Cabbage, you have many, many fine qualities, and you are no doubt a boon and an asset to your warren, but you are not a boon in this way. And then she turns to Fig and says, but it doesn't mean you are either. Step forward, Cactus Flower, and state your case.
It's just like a reality show.
Cactus Flower has been looking down at the ground and hearing her name, she looks up confused. What's going on? Who won? I assume it was Fig won. Wait, you want me to step up here? So she hops up and what is it? What's going on?
No, Don't let her compete. Cactus Flower is she's traumatized still. She has lost her family.
Cactus flower.
She shouldn't be up here.
It's true. I'm the youngest of my family, and just today I lost my beloved brother, and I lost my mother, and I'm only here because I was sent along as the backup breeder. That's what my mother said.
Well, your mother's not here, but Midnight is, and she's only known all of us for like what, 5 minutes, and yet she still thinks you're worthy to speak. At least, I don't know.
Well,
Oh wait, actually, she doesn't say anymore.
why am I've never had a litter before. I'm, as you can see, I'm little, and I'm barely old enough. I think I'm old enough, but well, you don't know me, but I am kind, and I am patient. I think that's what I have to offer.
All right, let's go to the
Better than nothing.
Let's go to the compete again. This is for all the marbles. Do you guys have your numbers?
Hold on a second.
And this is just
Okay.
Fig and Cactus Flower, right?
This is just big and cactus flower.
I have my number.
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Well, first of all, a cactus flower. How much panic are you both getting?
This is a pretty scary moment. I think 3.
Wow. That brings me to my maximum panic.
Ooh, it's a Fig freak out.
Yeah. Well, it just means that, like, basically, yeah. So Fig, I mean, how do you react? I mean, clearly you're freaking out right now in some way.
Is it when you exactly reach your panic, or if you go over? So is it the number of checkboxes you have?
It's whenever you reach the max. So what was your max?
My max is 7.
And so what'd you hit? You have 7 now?
I have 7 now.
Okay, so basically you have to react in some way. Like you just have a meltdown. You can't deal with this. Like, how do you?
I can't deal with this. No. This baby bunny.
So yeah, Midnight says, Cactus. She says, Fig, you are clearly a fertile rabbit, and certainly the mother recognizes that you have done your best to fulfill your rabbitly obligations. But your place is back at the Warren. The rabbit who will save you is Cactus Flower. Come forth, young doe.
No! 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 I run out into the desert.
Yes.
Oh dear.
And so Coriander and Cactus Flower and Cabbage are led into the Great Womb. It is a dark place. It is the birthplace of all rabbits, at least you believe it to be. As you each enter, paint the scene, as you each enter, what evidence do you see that this is the birthplace of rabbit kind? Like, how do you know? Whoever wants to go first.
We can see where this burrow has been dug out over generations and generations and generations. You can see the claw marks that are up at the ceiling that are so faint and worn away to where it's been dug down, down, down. And you can smell that ancientness of rabbits.
Nice. What about you? Let's say Cutter, Cactus Flower.
Well, Cactus Flower has, never been out of the Warren before, so
Right.
This is all just completely new to her. But I think, it's just the smell and the the fur from many rabbits past, and the darkness is, every warren is dark, but there's something warm and dark and moist about this place.
Hmm. What about you, Cabbage? As you go in to act to bear witness, how do you know this is the birthplace of Rabbitkind?
Oh, I have to bear witness.
Insult.
Yeah, exactly. This got even more sad and poignant for.
You have to describe the mating sounds.
All right. Yeah. So, I think there are going to be etchings on the walls of prior generations who have come here.
Nice.
We'll say rabbits of all different sizes and shapes, and she is heartened to see even like ancient carvings of big-eared bunnies, and that actually like comforts her in a profound way because she's
Other
never.
witnesses past.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Other losers who just have to watch the winners, form their progeny while they stew in their own bunny tears. But it does like. This is like the first sign that she's not the only one who's like been, carried the gift / burden of, the ever perceptive. So yeah.
Excellent. So I think if you guys are cool with it, we'll do the mating move, and then that'll be the end of our session once we do the mating move. So mate, when you mate with another rabbit, you're going to take plus. Oh wait, that's not what I want. What's the move to whether you impregnate them or not? Isn't that the thing?
There's mating and then birthing.
Birthing.
Mate is when you
Oh
mate,
yeah. Here we go. Yeah, we're here.
take +1 ongoing.
To help hinder, right? Good. If you're different genders, both of you hide 0, 1 die, or 1 die in your fist. Okay, so you're either going to hide a die or you're not going to hide a die. On a count of 3, you'll open your hands. 2 dice means that the doe is pregnant and she may give birth whenever it feels right. So it's this is just kind of a story decision for the two of you to make, like whether we want this to actually work or not, right? So you guys can just, if you have a die handy, you can just do it, or something that'll approximate a die. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Show to the camera. 1, 2, 3. Die.
I didn't put a die in, but the thumbs up, I figured I'd do it.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Die because I didn't think you could see it.
Yeah. So you both will be pregnant then? Or you'll be pregnant? Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
The warren depends on it. It was foretold.
And then, but now there's the matter of the size of a litter. When you birth a litter, this is some time has passed, right? And you guys will be kind of staying at the Great Womb for a while until this is done. When you birth a litter, roll and subtract your current panic to determine the number of kits that are born. On a 10 plus, it's an unusually sizable litter. Increase your panic to maximum. On a 7 to 9, a normalized litter is by no means easy. Take +2 panic. On a 6 minus, it's all just too much, and few, if any, survive. The GM still gets to make a hard move, but this is a good time to check in and make sure other players are comfortable with the fiction. So we zoom forward in time just a little bit to see how the pregnancy goes. So you're going to, what's your current panic right now?
It's 4 as of the decision point.
Can I tell a little story as I see her giving birth?
Yeah, to try to reduce it. Yeah, I'm into that. Go for it. Yeah.
I'll be telling a story of, and when the first mother gave birth, she had an enormous litter and all the little kids spread across the world. And I rolled 10. That gives me a 12.
Awesome. So that bumps your litter, or that knocks your panic down by 3. So you have panic 1 now, right?
All right.
So roll -1.
All righty. Oh, snake eyes.
Oh, no.
It's good.
I knew it should have been cabbage.
No, it's perfect. I mean, it's good, isn't it?
No,
High
no.
result.
No.
The lower result means that it's too much and few, if any, survive. So
Oh, no.
I wasn't old enough.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Ah, yeah. You were the mid result. I see.
So, you guys have been there for a number of, however long it takes to, for rabbits to get, to go to term. Probably not very long, a few weeks maybe. And you're there. The moment comes. Corey, you tell the story, and it all comes to pass that none of them survive. There are no rabbits that are going to be born this time. I want to just go around the table and do just a little bit of an epilogue for this chapter of the story for each rabbit. Fig, where do we find you at the end? What do you do?
I'm back at the Warren because
Okay.
I survived the desert even on my own, and I'm ready to plan to kick out Ghost because Ghost is just plain wrong about everything. I will produce the biggest litter, and it doesn't matter where I do so. I do wherever I want.
Indeed. Let's have a little epilogue with Cabbage. Cabbage, what do we see?
Well, Cabbage is, while Corey is on daddy duty, she's going to be mingling with the rest of the rabbits who live around the Great Womb and paying attention to their stories because she knows that Corey would love to be here, hearing the stories, sharing his own, but since he's otherwise preoccupied, she'll be paying attention to all the stories and will be ready to relay them to Corey because she's not well spoken, she's not a great storyteller, but Corey is the greatest of storytellers, and that's what she's going to be doing while the babies are in the on their way or not, as it were.
Corey, what about you after this tragedy?
Well, if this is good with you, Michael, we see back at the Warren, and Corey's telling a story to the kids, and that is why when we went to see the Great Womb, the mother taught us a lesson. He'll look over and you'll see Cabbage, fat and pregnant, with another litter on the way. And your mother and I, we returned back knowing the mother's wisdom. When you're at home is where you create life for the Warren.
Indeed.
Nice.
Well, so Cactus Flower, I guess. Like, what about you? I mean, this was.
Well,
you suffered so much loss during the whole course of the story, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Cactus Flower is really too young for all this. I think she is destined. She thinks she is destined to someday be a great mother. She's really got the maternal instinct. But it's just, this whole tragedy with her family, her mother and her brother and the kits, she's just silent for days after that. And when she does come out of it, she tries to seek solace in Coriander, and are we going to try again, or are we mated now, or was this just for this thing? And ultimately she realizes that that's not going to happen, that he's got his eyes elsewhere. And so she's always been a quiet, retiring bunny, and she's even more quiet and retiring now, and someday her time will come.
very nice. Very nice, very nice. Well, and that's how. Well, basically, the chapter was kind of ended by Coriander telling the story there. But yeah, that's the end of our chapter. So great job. I will be on Discord for a little bit to debrief if you guys want to debrief there. Otherwise, I will just say that it was fantastic. You all did a lovely job. It was very, very enjoyable. And I want to just sort out really quickly who our GM is going to be for next week.
I won't be here for next one. I'm here for the third one.
Okay, so that means it's going to be between. Let's see here. It's between Garrett, Harry, or Michael. So who wants to take a crack at it?
I can be in, but I think we should roll dice as good role players do.
You should compete. I mean, it's up to you guys. I can keep jamming too if you guys don't. If no one wants to do it, but whoever.
Oh, I'd be
say
up for it, but I like. Oh, sorry. I'd say the dice idea sounds fine with me because
Okay.
it seems like I get a sense, Garrett, you're interested in running. I think it'll be interesting to give it a run. But how do you feel, Harry, about?
I'm more comfortable being a player.
Then let's roll a d6, and 1 to 3 is me.
Yeah, actually, wait, I'm just looking at my calendar here to see what my schedule's like. Actually, would you mind doing it next week, and maybe I can do the 4th week, and then, well, I guess I can do either the 3rd week or the 4th week, depending. But maybe Garrett, do you feel comfortable doing it next?
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody else as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
and,
sounds
and,
good.
and I'll be a player. So awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna stop this.